In this video, I'm going to summarize the quest lore for the Gnome starting zone. And yes, this will explain exactly what Operation Gnomeregan was all about, because the quest lore which you may have skipped explains exactly what you need to know. So let's jump in and find out what's going on in World of Warcraft. If this is your first time here, welcome to the party. My name is Cameron, and I do summary videos on the quest lore that many have skipped while playing World of Warcraft. So if this is the kind of content you like watching, then consider subscribing to the channel. And make sure to hit that like button to help out the YouTube algorithm. Okay, let's talk about the gnomes. Originally, they started in the same zone as the dwarves, but due to some political differences, their welcome in Ironforge isn't so welcome anymore. So the plan was to take back their original home, Gnomeregan. You start off deep within the area and speak to Nevin Twistwrench, who's the commander of the Survivor Assistance Facilitation Expedition, or SAFE for short. He doesn't know how you've managed to survive the radiation down here, because you're caked in it. But most of the others haven't been doing so well. Nevin says that the leper gnomes are too numerous to hold back, and he wants you to help fight them off by killing 6 of them. It might help the gnomes that haven't lost their minds stay alive. So you head out and kill 6 of the leper gnomes. Then you head back to Nevin to report. He says his men can take it from here, and that we need to focus on getting the survivors out. So Nevin is going to start preparing his men to leave this place, and wants you to move into a forward position in the middle of the room up ahead. In that room, you should be able to find Carvo Blastbolt, and he'll give you further instruction. So you head to the next room, and meet up with Carvo. He says that there's still survivors to be rescued before we can end the mission. Carvo mentions that a lot of the survivors down here don't have the strength to make it to the top. So he hands you an emergency teleport beacon, and wants you to teleport 6 survivors to a safe area that his men have established. So you head out and teleport 6 of the survivors to the safe zone. Then you head back to Carvo to report. He's surprised that you've managed to stay so strong through the radiation down here, and says that we should get to the loading room for decontamination. Once there, you're to meet up with Gaffer Coilspring, who will set you up for decontamination, preparing you to make your way to the surface. So you make your way to the next room, and meet up with Gaffer Coilspring. She says that it's amazing that you've survived being down here for so long. But before we can send you to the surface to join the rest of the gnomes, you have to go through the contamination process. This can be done by heading into the next room, boarding the Sanitron 500, and it'll do the rest. Once you're done, check in with Technician Braggle. So you head into the next room and jump onto the Sanitron 500, which then takes you through a 3-step process of cleaning, and some more cleaning. Once that's done, you speak to Technician Braggle, who tells you that Nevin and his men are making their way to the surface, and he'll be waiting for you in the building that SAFE has established as their headquarters. Braggle says to speak to Torben Zapblast when you're ready to head up. So you head over to Torben, and he teleports you straight to the top, directly in front of Nevin, who says that it's a victory whenever they get another gnome out of Gnomeregan. He then tells you that the gnome leader, High Tinker Mechatork, has assembled a team of trainers to help you learn your arts. Kelsey Steelspark, a key member of the Gnomeregan Covert Ops, will help you adjust to life on the surface, as well as oversee your training, and she can be found in the council tent to the northwest. So you head out to the tent and meet up with Kelsey, who rewards you with the Death Star or the Vibro Knife as a welcome to the surface present. Kelsey asks if you remember Mechatork, and only asks that because memory loss is quite frequent with the survivors from Gnomeregan. But either way, High Tinker Mechatork wants to personally meet every single gnome that's come out of Gnomeregan, and says that you can meet him with his war council beneath the tent in the center of the town. So you walk over to Mechatork, and you meet the king. He says that you may have heard others speaking about something called Operation Gnomeregan, and then proceeds to tell you a bit about what happened, and why the gnomes left the dwarven city of Ironforge. So the dwarves of Ironforge took in the gnomes when the Trog invasion and radiation forced everyone to leave Gnomeregan for the first time. But even the kindness of friends can't stop that longing for home, so Mechatork called for every brave gnome, and other members of the Alliance, to help regain control of Gnomeregan, and defeat the usurper Thermoplug once and for all. Now Mechatork says that we weren't able to achieve everything that Operation Gnomeregan was supposed to do, but Thermoplug is on the run and we're closer to home than ever. Now King Mechatork wants you to watch the holotable and learn everything that's been going on with Operation Gnomeregan. So you activate the holotable and learn that King Mechatork and his group worked their way back into Gnomeregan, killing enemy forces along the way, until they encountered one of Thermoplug's Bragbots, who activated the ultimate atomic protection system, spawning an Irradiator 3000, which would essentially kill everyone in the area. The system was originally set to go off in 10 minutes, which would have given Mekaturk plenty of time to disarm the thing. But the brag bot realized that the factory settings were left on, so it changed the countdown from 10 minutes to 10 seconds. Luckily, Mekaturk and his crew were able to teleport out of the area, forcing them to retreat. But the Irradiator still exploded. So for right now, only the safe teams dare venture far into the city to look for survivors. But Thermoplug has sent one of his followers to the surface, Razlo Crushcog, in order to distract the gnomes up above, allowing Thermoplug more time to dig in. So right now, we need to defeat Crushcog. Mekaturk wants you to meet with Engineer Grindspark, who's working on a bot that will help clean up the toxic airfield to the south, and he can be located to the northeast of here. So you head out and meet up with Engineer Grindspark. He says that there's just too much to do around here, and not enough gnomes to help. High Tinker Mekaturk has ordered Grindspark to convert old bots and parts from Operation Gnomeregan into a new line of multi-bots. He wants you to gather 7 spare parts lying around New Tinkertown and bring them back to him. So you head out and collect 7 spare parts, and then you bring him back to Grindspark. He asks you if you'd like to test out one of the prototypes when he's done. So once he completes the multibot, he tells you that when Thermoplug detonated the Irradiator at the end of Operation Gnomeregan, toxic clouds and ooze began bubbling up from the ground at the old airfield to the south, and that if we don't get it under control soon, the contamination could spread to the rest of the area. He wants you to take the multibot and bring it close to the green pools in the airfield, allowing it to do its job. Before you leave, you run up to Tox Sprocket. He says that the gnomes that suffered exposure from the poisons will eventually devolve into puddles of sludge, and some already have. His research suggests that he may be able to restore them to their original state, and wants you to bring back 6 possessions of the gnomes they once were when you're out in the airfield. So you head out, and once you get close to the airfield, you run into Corporal Fizzwhistle, who says because of Tox Sprocket's theory about the sludges being the last remnants of the gnomes, they have orders to not engage them for now. But the airfield is teeming with living contamination. These elements are composed of contaminated water and other toxic materials. And if we don't do something soon, they'll overrun the town. So Corporal Fizzwhistle wants you to kill 6 contaminated elementals when you're out in the airfield. So now you head out there. Kill the 6 living contaminations, as well as 6 of the sludge to get the remains of the gnomes. And you shut down 5 of the toxic geysers. Once that's done, you return to Corporal Fizzwhistle, who's grateful for what you've done, and rewards you with the Fallout cover, as well as the airfield courier bag. Now, you make your return back to Tox Sprocket. He says that he can't wait to give this new technology a try with the remains that you brought back. So he does this scientific stuff, and sure enough, he brings a gnome back to its former self, only to see it run off and explode. Guess he has some adjustments to do. Now you return to Engineer Grindspark, who's surprised that the bot worked out on the first try, and wonders what else this thing can do. Now that all of that is done, you head down to the holotable and speak to Captain Tread Sparknozzle to find out what else you can do in order to help out New Tinkertown and the survivors from Gnomeregan. Looks like the gnome starting zone that shares an area with the dwarves, kind of like the trolls share Duratar with the orcs, is a little bit longer than the troll starting zone, which we were able to cover in one episode. But at least we understand a little bit more about what happened with Operation Gnomeregan, and I can only imagine that there's more to learn. So a big shout out to the Patreon members for supporting this channel. I can't thank you enough for your contributions, and it keeps me fired up to keep on doing these episodes. If you'd like to support this channel through Patreon, then go ahead and check out the link down below. And with that, we'll see you next week when we find out what happens next in the Tales of Azeroth. Who's the commander of the Survivor Facilitation Exhibition. Oh, this one's hard.